over the ring. I started looking over the other area with the family kind of taking me, okay, this happened here, this happened there.
Although no sign of a hoax is apparent at the scene, in Delphos, Phillips scrutinizes the Polaroid photograph taken by Mrs. Johnson.
I tried many times to reproduce the Polaroid image shot that night. It's just not possible. I've tried everything, and again, using the same camera, the same film, same lighting conditions, with and without flash, and it's just not possible.
Intrigued by his findings at the site, Phillips returns to Dr. Hynek with nearly 40 pounds of soil samples and more than 100 photographs. So what was it on the ground?
I shook it up, and the water turned red. And I thought, oh my God, there's something here, you know. It really shook me up for a day or so when I realized that, yes, there is something there.
Beginning in the 1960s, Dr. J. Allen Hynek believed that trace cases might be the key to solving the UFO enigma. In 1971, in the small town of Delphos, Kansas, a UFO encounter set the bar for trace case examination. Hoping to obtain a valid and unbiased scientific opinion on the case, Dr. Hynek enlisted the help of a few brave scientists who concluded that the soil of the Delphos ring was considerably different from the normal ground soil. But the next breakthrough in the Delphos analysis would not come for more than 20 years, when Ted Phillips met analytical chemist Phyllis Budinger. Inside the scientific world, Budinger's expertise is known as spectroscopy.
Spectroscopy is a group of techniques. You can also quantify things in liquids and gases. And each molecule will react differently with the light and giving absorption bands, and the result is a unique spectrum. Much as DNA is unique to each human.
To investigators outside the scientific world, simply put, you give Budinger dirt from Delphos, and she will tell you what's in it. So in 1999, Phillips sent samples to Budinger's Frontier Analysis Laboratory in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, for study.
I really didn't know what to expect. I knew there was some organic substance there. I didn't know what I was going to find. I'll never forget when I first got them. I put some in a test tube, put water on top of it, and I shook it up, and the water turned red. And I thought, oh my God, there's something here, you know. I really, that shook me up for a day or so when I realized that, yes, there is something there.
Astonished by her first observation, Budinger is also surprised that the soil is still hydrophobic or water repellent, even 30 years after the event. In 2006, she recreates the experiment in her laboratory, and her results are exactly the same.
Okay, I'm going to show you that the Delphos ring soil is still hydrophobic after all these years. I'm going to add these approximately the same amount of water. The water extract on the top is a much darker color than that of the control sample. So clearly something has been extracted.
On subsequent trips to the Delphos site over a period of 10 years, Phillips noted that the ring on the ground remained visible and that no new plant life was able to grow. Although researchers cannot explain why they believe the craft made the soil hydrophobic, Budinger offers a scientific reason for how.
There was organic material coated on the surface of the soil that made it hydrophobic. And this organic material was identified by myself as fulvic acid.
Fulvic acid is a naturally occurring substance found in the ground during plant decomposition. It can cause soil rejuvenation and can be an excellent supplement to fertilizer. Although fulvic acid is found naturally in soil, Budinger believes the amount of it in the Delphos ring is anything but natural.
Fulvic acid would not be in the concentrations that is naturally occurring. It was added. It's part of a release of something. There is no natural explanation for these high levels of fulvic acid in the soil. I really don't know where it came from.
This unexplained release of fulvic acid is not the only abnormality that Budinger discovered in the Delphos soil sample. High levels of oxalic acid, which is a known skin and eye irritant, were also found to be present in the soil. Oxalic acid could account for the numbing effects on Mrs. Johnson's fingers and leg that lasted for the remainder of her life. But for scientists, this compound, coupled with the fulvic acid, makes way for some interesting speculation on the glowing effects of the soil.
I think that the substance came when it was being released from the craft, is that the craft's propulsion system created an ionic field which excited the material. And I think when it fell, it was luminescing from the interaction with the ionic field of the craft. And I think it's a clue to the propulsion system of this machine.
Budinger's theory and analysis have motivated investigators and researchers to come up with some type of scientific explanation. Years after the Delphos incident, another trace evidence case causes widespread panic in Missouri.
All the people are screaming, and it's hovering there 10 feet above the ground.
They are the clues left behind. From a quadrangle formation of landing legs in Socorro, New Mexico, to a mysterious glowing ring in Delphos, Kansas, since 1964, there have been thousands of cases of UFO trace evidence. To field investigator Ted Phillips, these common trace characteristics he has discovered support the reality of UFOs.
And in the hundreds of cases I've personally investigated, my conclusion is that we're dealing with a device, a machine of mass, constructed by an intelligence and under the control of something intelligent. And that's obvious by the things that they do. The way